What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, and today we got some catching up to do, man. Life has been insanely busy, crazy, stressful, sickly, expensive, all the above. So it's been a minute. Officially 34 days since I did that 100 meters review, anime review. 47 days since I did the Silk Song and Long Walk episode. And 74 days since I did the Sword of the Sea Pantheon episode. So, yeah, over a month minimum, which is kind of crazy. But before I get into all that, as always, if this is your first time here, then welcome. But if you're a returning listener and or watcher, then welcome back. Y'all know here at Danny's Talk, it's all about fatherhood and family for sure. That's what I've been dealing with. Manga, anime, TV shows, movies, and of course, some video games. So I'm just gonna say up front, I am still very tired, but I was like, I missed talking to my peoples, man. Even though it's not a lot of people that listen, I still appreciate those that do. And I will mention the first probably 15 minutes be me trying to briefly recap what's all been going on over this last month and some change since I've been gone. But if you want to just skip the stuff, whatever, this episode, I'm primarily just going to be kind of like doing some quick fire impressions of some shows and movies that I've watched while I was away. I do plan on, hopefully later on in this week, I want to do like a gaming specific episode because there was a lot of gaming news that happened as well that I want to kind of focus on separately. So, but we'll see. But yeah, so I hope everybody out there is doing well. uh, Maybe a little bit better, less stressed than your boy. But it feels good to be back here in front of the camera, in front of the microphone again. Cause yeah, so just to kind of give a semi-condensed version of everything that's going on. Trying to think. So the big thing was sickness. So a few weeks back, pretty much it was a situation where like 7 people in my house got sick, myself included. But I was the last standing soldier in that battle because pretty much my oldest son brought home something from the high school from one of his teammates, came to school sick and got half the team sick. So he brought one thing home. And then Vash brought home something from elementary from one of his classmates, whatever. So we had two separate viruses circulating around the house. Um, and it was horrible. Now, the one that Jay, my oldest, brought home or whatever, wasn't super bad. It was kind of more so like slight stomach ache, sore throat type of stuff, whatever. But what Vash brought home was something horrendous. Like it was like profuse vomiting if you got what he had. And unfortunately, 3 people I think got what he had. And some of the kids ended up getting both. So yeah, it was very bad a couple of weeks. And then all 5 kids, like I said, got something. Like I said, probably 3 of the bunch ended up getting both. And you could tell, who had got what Vash had because profuse vomiting. And my wife ended up, I think, getting both or whatever. Now, I never, thankfully, got the throwing up stuff that Vash had or whatever. But my thing was I pretty much had like primarily a high fever for like a few days straight or whatever. Like I'm talking like 100, 101, 102, somewhere in that range or whatever. And I feel like that was primarily like my immune system trying to fight off these 2 viruses because like I said, that's all happened, like I said, over the course of like a week and a half, whatever, between everybody. And then we kind of got everybody more or less cleared or whatever. And then made it through the weekend. And then I went to work on a Monday. Wasn't feeling too good on Monday or whatever. Came home, had a fever before the end of the night, missed work Tuesday, broke the fever that night or by Wednesday morning. Tried to go to work that Wednesday, lasted for like a couple hours, went back home, missed that Thursday, then went back to work that Friday. So yeah, it was an insane time. And of course, I'm trying to think. I don't remember when this might have happened or whatever, but along with all this stuff, we've also been dealing with car situations and stuff. Because I think I told y'all that, um, my wife's grandmother got hit when she was driving my wife's car back at the beginning of August. So we're middle of November. So August, September, October, November, over 3 months later. So during the sickness time, whatever, stuff with the car thing started progressing to where they're okay, hey, well, we're gonna, come pick up your car, get you in a rental, yada yada yada. So during one of those days when I had a high fever, I had to go up to get a rental car because, by this point we pretty much had the one car because they picked up my wife's car to go assess it, but it was pretty much like a 99% chance it was going to get totaled out. And spoiler alert, it did get totaled out officially last week. But yeah, so dealing with the car situation and stuff, whatever. Like this past weekend, we just freaking got two more cars. So now we're gonna have freaking three cars total. So I must have my big SUV, and then my wife and her grandmother both got smaller SUVs, whatever. But now all three adults will have access to vehicles at all times, so that no matter what, hey, if somebody needs to move around, emergency goes on, whatever the case may be, whatever. If I'm stuck at work, my wife's stuck somewhere, whatever, and the grandma need to go do something or get one of the kids, whatever the case may be, whatever. Now we have that third option available. So yeah, so we spent pretty much like majority of this past Saturday at the car lot trying to get all that stuff sorted out or whatever. Cause you think getting one car is a headache. You thinking about getting two and stuff. So yeah. But thankful we were able to get that kind of worked out and going. We'll see how all these payments and stuff is looking or whatever. But that aside, that's kind of like the long and short of the craziness that's happened over this last month. Like I said, it's pretty much like 2.5, 3 weeks of just sickness, and then like I said, the car stuff mixed in. Of course, we're mid-November, so we're already in basketball and cross country season for the kids. And then there's been a whole other situation going on with that I would not discuss on the podcast, but it's just been some stuff with the sports and kids and stuff going on, and trying to get grades and academics and stuff situated and in order. Now, I will say on a positive note, amongst this past month and all the chaos, whatever, I did get to go and visit my lovely niece, Sarah, my sister's oldest daughter. And I also got to see Lydia, my sister's youngest daughter, whatever, which meant I got to go spend time with my great niece and stuff and see how much she has grown because I saw her for the first time earlier this year when she was like 3 months old. So she is a fellow January baby like her great uncle Rob. So I saw her for the first time in person back in March, April, or whatever, when she was about like 3 or 4 months. And so I got to see her again um, in October, towards like the middle to end of October, when she was 10 months, whatever. And boy, that is one chunky yet very adorable baby. She's already starting to freaking trying to take steps and stuff. So yeah, when I went over, my niece was like, "Hey, Uncle Robert, watch your feet. She might be in her walker." And sure enough, she was. But yeah, so it's always good to go spend time with my nieces, get to talk to my nephews and stuff. So overall, fun time amidst all the chaos and stuff of life. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it for like life stuff, like saying like a super condensed nutshell and stuff. So, but yeah, so that's going on. Like I said, we're pretty much in full swing with basketball and cross country now. Um, we're still also at work wise. Work is just busy and hectic because we are supposed to be moving to a new location for my job in a few 2 to 3 weeks or whatever. And so, yeah, that's its own ball of stress because we're trying to prep stuff we got, but because I work for a hospital in the medical field or whatever, business still keep going or whatever. Because some of the delivery guys been like, hey, like I know y'all are moving, but like wow, why do they keep ordering stuff whatever? Because every day we get trucks and trucks of stuff every single day down there, and I'm like, well, we have over 300 clinics, um, and dozens of urgent cares. So we have over 300 plus locations across the whole DFW Metroplex that, when dealing with clinics and urgent cares, whatever, those run pretty much every day of the week for the most part and stuff. And so it's like there's always a new clinic opening or expanding or moving or getting shut down. So there's always stuff on that front. And of course, just day to day business. There's always something somewhere breaking that needs to be replaced. And I'm like, pretty much all of that equipment comes from me and my location and stuff. So when I explain that, they're like, oh, okay. So I'm like, yeah, it sucks. It's like trying to plan the move, but we still got to do our normal ordering of new hardware and stuff. So it's I'm getting trucks and pallets of new computers and laptops and stuff in right now as we're on the final stretch before this move. So, but it is what it is. I just kind of just go with the flow and do the best I can. but uh, but yeah. So enough about that. I will say very briefly. It's been a lot of good, uh, new, interesting manga that I've been reading and checking out recently. I'm not even going to talk about any of them today, but I'm just going to shout out because I do plan on probably next week if I can do a full, proper episode or whatever. Or I definitely kind of want to do like a manga highlight episode, kind of shout out some newer series that I've been enjoying. But let's see. A few of them I'll shout out is Witch Rev, which is a kind of like a fantasy manga about a witch that lives in a world where basically witches are hunted and stuff. So they kind of try to like, live and blend within society and stuff. So a little bit more of like a darker drama type of series, but really good so far. It's about 4 chapters. Yeah, 4 chapters out so far. I've been enjoying that. Um, I haven't really checked that one out. I'm just trying to look through all the different days in manga that are coming out. Oh, another new one is called a Punk Gun. I'm trying to think, is this the one from the Smother Me author? No, that's a different one. But anyway, Punk Gun basically deals with a group of basically these kids who are orphaned, and so to try to like fight for survival and make a living and help each other out or whatever, a couple of the kids decide to become bounty hunters, and so they're kind of going after these different mystery people and stuff. So, but yeah, so that one's been pretty solid. Let me see. I feel like it was like another new one I had checked out. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll have to see. But yeah. So, but either way, I'm excited and enjoying those so far. What else I want to shout out real quick? Summer anime still been going good. We're about halfway through the season now. Sonda continues to be a really good little surprise that I don't know. It's just like really interesting, just like as we continue to learn more about Sonda and his Santa abilities, but then like the different background and how this world and society works, and learning more secrets about some of like the adult staff and different things like that. So that one's been really good. I've still been enjoying the assassin one. I can't think of the full name, but the assassin stronger than the hero, something like that. That one's been really good. It really gives me like that kind of like old school like 2010s vibe, and I think it's just because primarily because of like the art style is done by the same company that did the art and stuff for Code Geass back in the day. So it kind of gives me similar vibes to that. Um, the level 999 uh, anime, that one's been really cool as well. And got Yakuta still continues to be really interesting and fun to watch. And yeah, those are kind of the main ones uh, from the fall fall season that I have enjoyed watching. So, all right, let's go ahead and and like I said, I'm gonna try to do a gaming thing either later this week or next week, whatever. But it's like everything from like I've been gone so long that this is old news now, but it's like uh Halo officially going to PlayStation was crazy to finally see that. We knew it was coming because it's like Forza happened earlier this year, and then Gears of War in August, and now Halo. It's like, okay, yeah. But yeah, that was interesting. GTA 6 got delayed again. Uh, all these new Steam machines and stuff like that. That looks very enticing to me. And then I also got really deep and heavy into Ball Pit as well. But like I said, I'll probably talk about all that stuff later. I will say shout out to so Nintendo on like one of their apps or whatever. They have a full stat track of your playtime and stuff with all the games. I think going back to the original Switch or whatever, but like, yeah, it's very detailed information for each game, how long you played every day, all that stuff. And so it was kind of crazy because like I played a Silk Song on my Switch too or whatever. So like seeing the crazy hours that I was putting into Silk Song, which makes sense because it's like I played freaking uh 70 hours of that game in like a month, which is humongous for me nowadays. But let me see if I can find. I don't know if I can do. Oh yeah, play activity. Let's see. Yes, Silk Song. So now it's saying over 80 hours, but yeah, it just gives like a detailed day by day, hour by hour. It was like days where I played 6.5 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4, 6. Yeah. So yeah, those first couple days, like day one, 3 hours, day two, an hour and a half, day three, 6 hours and some change, 5 hours. Yeah, it is pretty cool to see that amount of time. Ball pit, I've already done over 20 hours with that. So yeah, there was a day I did 5.5 hours. But anyway, yeah, that's just like just fun little nerdy in depth stuff. So, but moving on from that, because it's already freaking 11 o'clock. I am tired, but I want to shout out these freaking shows that I really enjoyed. So the first one I kind of want to just show some love to was Task. So this was a crime drama that was on HBO Max, just 7 episodes, starred Mark Ruffalo. Now, this was one that I was immediately interested in back when I kind of started seeing like posters and stuff for it because I saw Mark Ruffalo, which that's, he's the Hulk in the MCU or whatever. But I think like ever since like a year or two ago, where I saw him in that one movie, shoot. So I gotta look it up. What was the? It was a movie he did like a year or two ago. Come on, where's the list of stuff? Hold on, I gotta find this. Yes, it was that movie, Poor Things, that also had Emma Stone, which I'm gonna talk about a movie with her in it later, and Willem Dafoe. Ever since I saw him in that a couple years ago, I was like, okay, it's nice to see him in stuff outside of just the MCU or whatever. So yeah, so when I saw this show, I was like, okay, this seems like it might be something on my alley or whatever, but I'm gonna kind of just wait and see. And so a few weeks into the season, I saw a lot of people. It was getting a lot of like high praise and stuff. So I'm like, okay, bet. So the Thursday and Friday leading up to the season finale that Sunday or whatever, I think like that Friday night going into Saturday, I binge watched all six episodes that were available, and like it kind of gives me, it's like a crime drama that has a smidge, a very tiny smidge of like some like mild sense of anarchy vibes to it. But basically, Mark Ruffalo's character is this FBI agent that so it kind of has like a couple of different stories kind of going on at the same time. So Mark Ruffalo's character, like I said, he's this FBI agent that leads this task force. Um, but at home, he's dealing with a situation where he has some adoptive children. His adoptive son is in jail for a crime he committed some time ago or whatever, that's very close and personal to the family. And so he's kind of dealing with that at home, while there has been like a string of robberies at trap houses and stuff whatever around town by the other main character played by Pelfrey. Tom Pelfrey. I'm not sure what other stuff he's in or whatever, but he did good in this role. But yeah, so that guy, him and his buddy work as trash collectors, and so basically as they drove around on their garbage truck, they were kind of getting like some that you find out later on, like some like inside information on which houses to hit. And of course, how this stuff typically goes, they flew a little bit closer to the sun, hit the wrong house, and it ends up in a situation where there's a there's dead bodies, and an abducted child, and all this stuff involved. And so yeah, it just gets really good because one, you're also trying to figure out like, okay, who on the inside is of so the all the houses, or a lot of the houses that they were hitting, were connected to this biker gang, Sons of Anarchy connection vibes. Um, that you find out that Tom's character Robbie has some type of inside connection to, and so yeah, it just becomes this like very interesting thing where, like, say you have uh Mark Ruffalo's character, which I kind of like the name Tom Brandis, as that sounds like a freaking FBI agent name. But yeah, Tom Brandis, who's leading this task force, but also dealing with this very personal stuff as a father at home with his family. And then you have Robbie, this trash collector, who starts off just trying to make some extra money for his family, but then that, of course, just goes wrong. And then you have the situation with the biker gang. So it's kind of like this like triangle between these three parties of task force, Robbie situation, and this biker gang or whatever. But I will say, all in all, though, 7 episodes is pretty solid. I do feel like I would have liked a little bit more closure with some of the side characters and stuff, but I am okay overall how everything kind of wrapped up and went, and the mysteries and all that stuff, whatever. I really enjoyed the tension and stuff, and just like some of the stuff that freaking Robbie just kept fumbling into, and things kind of getting worse and worse. And of course, I'll just say For a lot of characters, nobody is safe. So there's people that end up dead that you're like, oh no, like I did not expect that. There's some double and triple crosses and different stuff going on. So, but yeah, so if you're interested in a crime drama, then Task is one that I recommend. Let's see. Next up, I'm gonna shout out just very briefly. I went to the theaters to watch the Chainsaw Man Reze movie. Now, I enjoyed Chainsaw Man. I enjoyed reading part one, and watching the anime or whatever. But I'm also not one. I'm not still reading Chainsaw Man part two. I don't know many people who are, but I'm not really keeping up with it week to week or however frequent it comes out or whatever. But it is one that is like, okay, especially when I saw what arc it was with the Bomb Devil, that I was like, you know what? I'll use some of my coins and coupons to go watch this on the big screen. And yeah, that movie was a fun spectacle to see on the big screen, man. And especially like everything going on with the Bomb Devil, just with all the explosions and stuff, whatever, perfect for the big screen. But yeah, so it, I just had to say it was just a super fun watch, uh, and just kind of like renewed my energy of like, you know what, I will try to continue to go watch more of these like anime movies and stuff, in theaters. I kind of regret not going to see the Demon Slayer one, even though like I already read the manga, I know how it all ends or whatever, but I'm like, man, maybe I still should have gone to see that spectacle on the big screen, in which there's a chance that, especially I'm up here in DFW, there's probably a theater somewhere still showing it that I could probably go and watch super cheap one day. So, because I know they said they're not putting it on streaming services until sometime late next year or maybe even further. So, but who knows? Maybe I'll spend a few bucks and go see it if it's still in theaters at some point. So, but yeah, so shout out to Chainsaw Man Reze movie. Um, let's see. Okay, I'll give another shout out to another crime drama I watched called Mare, Mare, Mare of Easttown. Now, this is a slightly older one. This came out with 2021, so a few years older. But this one follows a detective. Ooh, pardon me. I don't. Side note, man. I don't think I haven't had to talk continuously like that. I'm not going on 30 minutes in a month. So I think my voice and my throat was like, yo, bro, you take a break. But yeah, so going back to what I was talking about with Mayor of Easttown. Now, this one, also 7 episodes. This follows I guess kind of like a small town police detective. Her name is Marianne, but everybody call her Mare. And it pretty much focuses around an investigation a into the recent murder of a teenage mother. And so the main character, she's very interesting because she is also dealing with, it's not super recent, but within the last like few years or whatever, like the death of her son and the effect that of course has had on her as a mother, but also her daughter and different things like that. Um, with this being a small town, it really gave me um small hometown vibes, like my hometown back in Jasper, where it's like a very tight knit community to where everybody knows everybody, everybody that's there for the most part grew up there, went to school there. She and her group when she was in high school, I think they won state. Yeah, they won the town's first state championship 25 years ago, whatever. And she got this nickname as I think it was like Lady Eagle or something like that or whatever. And so, so she's kind of like an old school hometown legend for what she did back in high school. Her friends, her classmates and stuff, whatever, which a lot of them are still close friends now. And so yeah, just all that stuff, because like I say, it really reminded me of back home, because I know a lot of people that now live within the community that are teachers, coaches, police officers, et cetera, within my hometown or whatever. They're back in the day, yeah, they were beasts at track, basketball, football, whatever the case may be. They were local legends. They still hold school records and stuff, whatever like that. That's what she was, or that's who she is, I should say. But yeah, so it's very interesting just seeing her. She is a very complex character, because like I said, she is dealing with this grief that she has never really taken time to like really sit down, go to therapy, talk to people, talk to, kind of talk through what happened and stuff with her son and different things like that. And so she just kind of just pours herself into her work and drinking and things like that. And then, you constantly see her kind of like lose her temper and stuff in different situations, or kind of be overly impulsive or doing stuff without thinking that kind of ends up blowing up in her face a lot of times. But it's very interesting, like I said, just like seeing that throughout the show, while also they're trying to solve these murder mysteries that are also potentially tied with. So one of her classmates that was also on that basketball team with her daughter, has been missing for over a year at this point. And so, of course, it's like somebody, think of a close friend that you knew back in the day or whatever. Y'all play sports together and stuff, whatever. Y'all won a state championship together. And now, of course, you're both adults, you're both parents. You're now the town detective and things like that. But your old classmate's kid has been missing for over a year. Well, you're the lead detective, and it's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, where's my daughter? Where's my baby? And so, yeah, it's a lot of things like that. Of course, the thing that comes with small towns like this is the secrets. You know, somebody somewhere knows what's going on, the truth, covering up stuff or covering for somebody else. So a lot of that is going on in this show. But yeah, Mare of Easttown, like I said, 7 episodes. This is also on HBO Max. I watched this not long after I watched Task, maybe like a week or so after, just because I was kind of in that mindset and that mood for a crime drama. And I think when I was looking up stuff, people were recommending it or whatever. I'm like, hey, if you like Task or if you like this and that, check out this. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. I'm glad I did, because it was good. All right, so next thing I'm gonna shout out is a movie called Bugonia. So this is what I was talking about earlier with Emma Stone, because it's from the same director who did that Poor Things movie that, like I said, I watched with her and Mark Ruffalo from a couple of years ago, whatever. Now, Begonia is definitely a movie I feel like would be a super acquired taste type of movie. And I say that because it's classified as like a black comedy. And so one of the main characters is Jesse Plemons, who he always plays these kind of like interesting characters in shows. I'm trying to remember what was his role. Sorry, I'm looking through his filmography real quick. Cause he was in Breaking Bad and stuff as where is it at? Where is Breaking Bad? Bruh. Hold on real quick. Yeah, he was Todd in Breaking Bad. um, and I feel like it was something else I saw him in after that more recently. But anywho, Fargo. That's what it was, Fargo. Um, But anywho, yeah, he always kind of plays these kind of like slightly off characters. But yeah, so him and his cousin are, or mainly him, but he's kind of got his cousin roped in on or whatever. They are, I guess, kind of like conspiracy theorists into like UFOs and things like that. And so they believe that Emma Stone's character, who is the CEO of like one of like the biggest corporations on the planet or whatever, they believe that she is an alien. So they go through this plan to capture her, torture her, and use her basically to try to like communicate with aliens and things like that or whatever. So that is more or less all I'm gonna say on the surface, whatever. But I will say it was a very fascinating movie that I would say maybe like the first like 15 to 30 minutes, I was kind of like, I don't know. But then things continue and start to kind of like ramp up in a way to where it's kind of, it started making you wonder like, wait, are there aliens? And then it kind of starts making you question it because, of course, Emma Stone, she's captured or whatever. And so, like, some people probably would do in that situation of, okay, you're kind of playing to what the person expects you to do or to say, whatever, because of course you're trying to save your own life and get out of the situation. And so, but it kind of starts to put doubt in you as a viewer of like, is she an alien? Is she? But yeah, and like I said, it continues to ramp up and to escalate from that point through to the freaking end of the movie and stuff. But it was a pretty solid time though. I'm definitely glad I watched it and gave it a shot. But like I said, it is definitely a very acquired taste type of movie, whatever. But one that I say like, hey, if you're into weird and interesting stuff, check out Bugonia, for sure. All right. So, last thing I kind of just want to give a brief shout out to. I don't have too much to say because it's only a few episodes long, but I had to give a little shout out to Pluribus, which Pluribus is the new uh, drama series from Vince Gilligan, the guy who brought us Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And y'all know how much I've talked in the past about, enjoying Breaking Bad and also really enjoying Better Call Saul. That was just like a few handful of years ago or whatever. But yeah, so Pluribus, it's on Apple TV, comes out every Friday. So it's 3 episodes out so far. They dropped 2 episodes at once. But it follows Reze, who was a main character in hold on, was she in Breaking Bad? I know for sure she was in Better Call Saul. Lord, my brain. Better Call Saul. Kim Wexler. Yes. Um, who was Saul Goodman's partner in crime, so to speak. So, but yeah, so she is the main character in this, and she is the author of a book series and stuff. And basically, this is kind of like a sci-fi, psychological, post-apocalyptic thriller type of show, where it basically deals with, and I will say first of all, before I go any further, if you enjoyed Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and those type of shows, but you're also okay with stuff that might be a little bit more slower paced, but kind of gives you time to kind of sit and think on things that's going on or whatever, go in and watch the show without any further context aside from just, hey, I enjoy his previous works. Okay, go watch it, see for yourself. Now, I'm gonna get to a little bit of specifics, whatever. So basically, this is kind of dealing with like kind of like a hive mind virus outbreak that happens where basically scientists discover some signal being transmitted through space, whatever. They discover is kind of like a what is it called, like a RNA DNA sequence, whatever, that they recreate, and they're testing out on different animals and mice and stuff, whatever. Well, a couple of scientists are checking on the mice, or about to get rid of them or whatever. One of the mice bites one of the scientists, and it kind of goes from there. And pretty much you find out that it is a hive mind where the virus spreads to everybody across the whole world, and everybody except for like a handful of people, including Rhea Seahorn's character, whose name is Carol. There's like a handful to a dozen people across the entire globe who didn't get infected for whatever reason, but everybody else is a hive mind connected on the same page. And so this is kind of like dealing with that situation of Carol trying to navigate and figure out what happened, how can she possibly fix it, and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, it has been really interesting to watch. It has been a very good Friday night show after like a long, crazy week of work and kids, basketball games and stuff, whatever. Friday night, after everybody in the house is settled, I snuggle up, turn it on, and enjoy some, good 45 minutes to an hour of television. But yeah, so just want to give a quick shout out to um Pluribus. Like I said, I definitely probably will be checking back in on it as it continues to go. I think, let's see, it's scheduled for 9 episodes total, so it's going to finish the day after Christmas. So that'll be very exciting to watch that, to round off the end of the year and stuff. So, but yeah. So, but I think that's gonna primarily do it for this episode. Yeah. So nice solid 40 minutes. It feels good to record again. Like I said, man, it has been a month, but life has been lifing, and yeah. So I hope y'all enjoyed the few things I did get a chance to talk about. So let me know if you've checked out Task, the Reze movie, Mare of Easttown, Pluribus, um, Bugonia, or anything else. Let me know. I always enjoy hearing from y'all. So, as always, you can find me everywhere at Dad Needs to Talk. And yeah, I will catch you on the next one. And as I always say, treat yourself to something nice, read some manga, watch some anime, TV shows, and movies, play some video games, and of course, live your best life. And speaking of which, the Game Awards nominees came out, and I'm not mad at the list. The 6 nominees, I believe, if I can remember off the top of my head: Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silk Song, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That's the 6 that are up for Game of the Year. Y'all know how much I loved both Expedition 33 and Silk Song. Like I just mentioned, I put freaking 70 hours into Silk Song in a month. And I think I put for sure over 50, 60 hours in Expedition 33 as well. Um, Donkey Kong Bonanza, I enjoyed a good bit of, but I still haven't finished it or whatever. Just kind of fell off on like one of those later worlds. Didn't play Death Stranding 2, but I did start playing Death Stranding 1, and I enjoyed the like dozen or so hours I've put into it so far. Um, what were the other ones? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, not really my type of game, but I admire the stuff that I've seen and heard about it or whatever. And then Hades 2 is one I would like to play someday, but I still never even finished Hades 1. But Hades 2 looks like it is just a better, strong improvement on the first one, so which is good. But anywho, so with that, I forgot to mention that earlier. But I am out. Y'all have an awesome day and or week, and I will catch you on the next one. Y'all be easy. Peace.